As you know, when it comes to the virus, as we were just saying, it's all about vaccinations. And as we were just saying with John Keogh, and I keep telling you night after night, the most vulnerable in this country are already well protected. So we're a lot better off than most people realise, and certainly better off than the politicians pretend. They're talking about very high vaccination levels before we kiss goodbye to these debilitating, dangerous and damaging lockdowns. So we keep hearing stuff like this.
Please, please come forward and get vaccinated. It's so important. It's critical for us to have as much of our population vaccinated as quickly as we can. And the other one bit of positive news is, as I understand it, there is nobody currently in intensive care who's had 2 doses of the vaccine. So we know the vaccine prevents serious illness.
Fair enough. If that's a bit too prosaic for you, though, you could always flick over to Kyle and Jackie O on the FM radio, and you get a similar message from them with a different beat.
Vaccinate and listen. We are back with a brand new injection. Someone grabbed a hold of you tightly, rolled up your sleeves with a daily or nightly. Will this ever stop? Yo, we don't know, but stuck in lockdown really blows. Too many people think vax is a scandal. Take 2 shots and COVID's handled. Pfizer or AstraZeneca. What rhymes with AstraZeneca? Oh yeah, America. One of 100 places you can travel to. So just relax, lay down your tinfoil hats and just get vaxxed. So we can go back to the old ways, shaking hands, kissing strangers all day.
There you go, hey? Kyle getting into Kylie's line of work, all good stuff. But the big problem with the vaccine rollout has been the trashing of the reputation of AstraZeneca in this country. The official advice was dumb. As Scott Morrison and others have been trying to point out, instead of measuring the minuscule health risks of the vaccine directly against the modest health risks of the virus for younger people, the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation, or ATAGI, measured the minuscule health risks of the vaccine against not only the health risks of the virus, but they discounted that risk by taking into account the then almost non-existent chance of getting the virus in this country. Now, this is just an unrealistic way to assess the health risk. We should assess the risk of the vaccine against the risk of the virus. That's what medical experts are paid to do. Individuals, all of us, we're the ones who can factor in our own chances of getting the virus. That's a risk for us to assess, surely. Now, we all remember that ATAGI advice. It was big news, prompting Morrison to call a media conference in the evening back in early April, drawing attention to a recommendation that needed a lot of care and consideration. Like it or lump it, though, the message that went out was effectively that anyone under 50 should not risk AstraZeneca. Later, that was broadened to everyone under 60. And it's just put everyone really off, just about everybody in the country being put off that vaccine. Now, this is terrible. This is the one vaccine we make in this country, the one where we have unlimited supply. It's the vaccine that has rescued the United Kingdom, and we literally can't give it away to people. Australians are now holding out for Pfizer, the imported vaccine for which supplies have been limited. And instead of vaccinating our own country with AstraZeneca, we're exporting it to other countries who are only too willing to accept the life-protecting jabs we reject. What a mess. ATAGI have a lot to answer for. Now, the politicians are trying to make up for nearly 3 months of AstraZeneca avoidance.
Please know that if you're over 60, obviously, AstraZeneca is available. If you're over 40, New South Wales Health can provide you with AstraZeneca. But even if you're under 40 and you really want to get the vaccine, please ask your GP. Your GP may give you the green light, and people of any age can get the vaccine.
And this afternoon, the Prime Minister, as you will have heard, called a news conference again too, and he offered an unnecessary apology in order to end silly media games that might have gone on for days.
I'm certainly sorry that we haven't been able to achieve the marks that we had hoped for at the beginning of this year. Of course I am. But what's more important is that we're totally focused on ensuring that we've been turning this around.
Funny how none of the premiers have apologised for any of their unnecessary lockdowns, but the media goes for ScoMo. But there you go. The PM then announced some additions to the vaccine rollout. He's brought forward the use of chemists, so nearly 500 pharmacies will be offering the jab around the country by the end of the month. And despite 2 more deaths today linked to side effects from AstraZeneca, the Prime Minister urged people to line up.
I want to get AstraZeneca vaccines in people's arms to protect them, their families and their communities. That's what I want. I'm trying to lift the vaccination rate. And the states that have been leaning into vaccination using AstraZeneca have much higher vaccination rates than those who haven't.
Yeah, the bottom line is, whatever your age, if you want a vaccine, talk to your GP about AstraZeneca. If you don't want a vaccine, that's fine. Just don't complain if you get crook.